In the autumn of 1041, a weary traveler dismounted outside the fortified walls of Lahore. He carried no riches, no army, only a leather-bound volume written in Persian. The city's inhabitants had never seen a treatise that explained the inner life of Islam in their own tongue. Who was this stranger, and why would his words echo through centuries? Ali Hujwiri was born in the early 11th century in the environs of Ghazni, a city then at the heart of the Ghaznavid Empire. Historical sources agree that he pursued religious studies under prominent scholars of the time, mastering Quranic exegesis, hadith, and the emerging discourses of Sufism. While his exact birth year is debated, some place it around 1009 CE, others a decade later, there is consensus that his formative years were spent in the intellectual milieu of Ghazni, where he encountered teachers who emphasized both legal rigor and inward purification. After completing his studies, Ali Hujwiri embarked on the traditional Sufi path of travel. He journeyed to the great learning centers of Baghdad and Nishapur, where he listened to lectures from figures such as Abu Sa'id al-Abrani, and absorbed the teachings of earlier mystics like Junaid al-Baghdadi. These years exposed him to a variety of Sufi practices, from strict asceticism to more communal forms of dhikr. Importantly, he observed how Persian-speaking scholars were beginning to articulate Sufi ideas in their native language, a departure from the predominantly Arabic treatises that dominated the Islamic world. The political landscape shifted dramatically in the 1030s, when the Ghaznavid Empire began to lose control of its eastern territories. Sultan Masoud I faced mounting pressure from the Seljuk Turks and internal rebellions, leading to the gradual withdrawal of Ghaznavid authority from Lahore and Multan. In this climate of uncertainty, many scholars and artisans looked eastward for stability. Ali Hujwiri, already known for his piety and scholarly reputation, chose to migrate to Lahore around 1041, a city that was transitioning from a Ghaznavid outpost to a frontier settlement under emerging local rulers. Upon arrival, he did not seek patronage or political office. Instead, he settled in a modest quarters near the city's western gate and began to teach. His gatherings attracted a diverse audience: merchants, artisans, soldiers, and curious townspeople. What set his instruction apart was his use of Persian, the lingua franca of the region's educated elite, to discuss concepts such as tawbah, repentance, muraqabah, meditation, and the stages of the spiritual path. This linguistic choice made Sufi teachings accessible to those who struggled with Arabic, thereby widening the circle of seekers. Completed circa 1060, the work is recognized by manuscript evidence as the first formal treatise on Sufism written in Persian. In it, he systematized Sufi doctrine, distinguished between the Sharia, law, tariqa, path, and haqiqa, truth, and warned against innovations that lacked grounding in the Quran and Sunnah. The treatise circulated quickly among Persian-speaking communities, reaching as far as Khorasan and Anatolia, and became a reference point for later Sufi authors, such as Ibn Arabi and Rumi. Ali Hujwiri died in Lahore around 1072 CE. Some sources give 1077. He was buried in a simple grave outside the city's eastern wall. Over the following decades, his tomb attracted visitors who came to honor his scholarship rather than to seek miracles. Early biographical notices, such as those in the Sufi compendiums of the 13th century, emphasize his authorship, his ascetic lifestyle, and his role as a teacher, with no mention of supernatural deeds. The legacy of Data Ganj Bakhsh endures today. His shrine, known as Data Darbar, remains one of the most visited spiritual sites in South Asia, drawing millions each year for prayers, qawwali performances, and communal gatherings. More significantly, Kashf al Mahjub continues to be studied in universities and madrasas as a foundational text that illustrates how Sufi thought can be expressed in vernacular language without compromising Islamic orthodoxy. In an era when cultural boundaries often seem rigid, Ali Hujwiri's journey from Ghazni to Lahore stands as a documented example of scholarly migration, linguistic adaptation, and the quiet, enduring power of written wisdom. But what happened next would change history.
The answer lies not in legend, but in the verified fact that a Persian treatise composed in a Lahore study room helped shape the spiritual vocabulary of an entire subcontinent, an influence that persists whenever seekers open its pages today.